Let's bring in our senior markets correspondent, Kevin Green. Very good morning to you, Kevin. What levels are you watching today?
Well, Sam, I agree with you when you're talking about that rotation. It's a little bit defensive this morning with utilities actually doing fairly well. You also have maybe some of these consumer staple companies actually doing pretty well. But if you're looking at the S&P 500, we have started off in the green, up about 0.1% so far here. And you have about 60%, 62% of the stocks in the S&P 500 in the green so far, which is exactly what you want to see. You guys just talked about that rotation trade. We are seeing information technology lag just a tad bit, but obviously we just started the market. From a level standpoint, the first area of resistance is 64.50. We're trading above that right now, around 70 points. That kind of coincides with that 200 period moving average on the 15-minute chart. And so let's see if we're able to actually leverage this now as an area that went from an area of resistance to an area of support and continuing to move higher. Your first major level on the call side here is 64.80 to the upside. Any breakdown, 64.20, you'd like to see some buyers kind of stepping in. You don't want to go anything really below that. 6,400, once again, could be a pretty decent area as well when you're looking at open interest. So overall, the technicals look okay. We are trying to recapture some of these losses here, and let's see how this kind of pans out when we get the ISM services data here in about 28 minutes. I think that's actually going to be a pivotal number that does come out, not just the headline number itself, but when you're looking at the prices component, which is actually still fairly elevated. And if we're still on the same trajectory to the upside here, you're talking about getting to levels that we've seen in November 2022, which kind of is a precursor to core inflation if you're looking at the CPI number, which may be a little bit of a headwind. But if we do see a pullback or a deceleration there, just like we saw ISM manufacturing data earlier this week, that actually could be a tailwind for equities. So I think that's going to be the big print for today that we'll be focusing on.
Yeah, it's a case of whether it confirms that trend or creates even more of a headache or a conundrum, certainly as far as the Fed is concerned, with some of the mixed data. I'm just looking at the sectors this morning. We are seeing a bit of a pullback in technology, also materials under pressure, energy too, perhaps speaking to what we're seeing with these oil prices. What sectors are you paying attention to this morning? Because you have got utilities outperforming today, and as well as some of the financial stocks.
Yeah, a couple of sectors just to keep on your radar here. We're kind of taking a little bit of a step back, looking at weekly charts. And the first one that we're looking at is the utility sector. This is going to be a 3-year weekly chart. Now, we have seen utilities do a phenomenal job this year, kind of breaking out of a consolidation range, hitting new all-time highs. But it has come back here a little bit. Now, this is the S&P 500 utility sector index, if you will. It's the similar type of trend if you're looking at the XLU, which is a popular ETF that everybody really looks at. And now we are seeing a pullback coming back, testing that previous area of resistance, leveraging that as an area of support, and do we continue to kind of move higher here? I think the big question that we are seeing is the RSI is still making higher lows at this point, but MACD is kind of hinging here a little bit, just meaning that we are seeing a lack of momentum. But I think this is actually going to be very pivotal. If we do see this trend continue with the 10-year treasury moving to the downside, breaking that 4.2% level, it makes dividend yields for utilities a little bit more attractive for the traditional ones, not looking so much towards the Oklos and the SMRs of the world, but looking at the NextEra Energy, the Duke Energy, things of that nature. So this has been an interesting trade, and it could actually be seeing a little bit of a tailwind here after this pullback, just given the macroeconomic environment as well as the yield curve itself kind of steepening out.
Okay, we'll be looking at the ISM services and also the PMI composite coming up in the next half an hour or so. Thanks so much for that, Kevin Green. Appreciate it.